Hello everybody and welcome to Emily's Upcycled Home. On today's video we're going to work with layering colors and making a vignette. Now if you saw my thrift video, you'll notice that I talked about this little picture here on one of my music sheets, and I talked about how she would look cute on a piece of wood. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now I already have this on a piece of wood and decoupaged the picture. Now this picture I went to a copying place and I made a copy to fit the size of the picture that was on the piece that I'm going to use. And I did paint that board in with like a khaki brown color paint. And now we're going to go ahead and spruce it up and add some moldings. And these are Prima Redesign molding. And I'm just going to take the little filigree part with the little flowers, and I'm going to use my paper clay. And this paper clay I do get off of Amazon. And the molds I did get off from an Etsy site. Now I'm just going to go ahead and fill in my paper clay and make the molding and place it onto the part of my wood piece that I want to have it on. Now I'm just rearranging this and fixing it to where I like it, and you'll see me piece together some of the paper clay molding because it did fall apart. Now here I'm going to make the medallion for the top, and right here we're going to come in and add that same filigree and the roses to the bottom of the piece. And it does curve a little, so I'm just straightening it out and attaching 3 pieces to make it one unified unit here. And of course I'm going to come in and attach all this with some wood glue, and I'm going to come in with my paintbrush, coat it on the back, and then lay that piece on there and continue that process till all the pieces are glued down, and working with the positioning to see where I want it, and add the top medallion. Now we're going to come in and layer our colors, and I'm using this green color, and it's still that Oops paint by Home Depot. I can't really tell you the color, but it is like a soft green, kind of sagey gray color. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to go around all the border of where the picture and the wood meet, and then I'm going to go all the way around all the little filigree touches, and then I'm going to come in with that same green and I'm going to work all the edges of the board, going all around the perimeter of the piece. And I'm using here just like a little dabbing technique with my brush. And I'm sorry the angle here on my picture is not very good, but I'm trying to get some close-ups here and it's not working for me, so I apologize for that. And then I'm going to come in with that same khaki color that I put for my base coat, and I'm going to go ahead and spread that and blend that into the piece, mixing it a little bit with the green color. And I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way around the piece, getting messy, not worrying about how it lands and how it lays. And then I just come back in with my rag, and I'm going to blend those 2 colors together, just adding and blending and adding and blending. And I'm going to get my brush, and of course it has some leftover, some paint on there or waxes, and blend all that in. And we're going to come in with our dark wax from DIY paint products, and I mix that once again with clear wax to give it a better able to work with it, so it doesn't come out blotchy. And I'm going to go ahead and work that into the whole piece, blending it with my brush. Now I bought these distress inks from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to go in and go over the filigree of the molds and go over the edges just to add some dimension and texture. And then I'm going to come in on the picture and age that picture a bit, because the printing process didn't capture the age of the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of that detail in. And now I'm going to come in with the gold gilding wax from DIY products, and I'm going to put that on top of the filigree that I added in all the edges and corners, and just go in with that and blend it all together. And there is an up close of the layering. Now, because it's not distressed enough, I'm going to come in with my sandpaper, my sander, and get all those edges and once again blend in some more dark wax. On to project number 2. Now I have this little piece of wood here and I cut it into kind of a rectangle size square, I guess, or rectangle, and I'm just sanding it smooth and going around all the edges and kind of rounding them out and rounding out the long edge is a 2. And I'm not going to worry about any of the imperfections of the wood. I leave those pieces as is. And I'm going to come in now with that same mixture paint that I used on other projects. And it's the brown and black paint mixed together with water and olive oil. And now I'm going to come in and dab in off all the excess. And repeat that process if you want it darker or lighter. Now I did already cut my little spindle pieces to make my feet. And now I'm going to just come in with my glue. And it's just plain old regular wood glue. You can use whatever brand you want. And I'm going to glue these pieces in. And then I'm going to come in with my brad nail gun and nail those pieces into the wood with some 3-inch nails. And I will repeat that process for all 4 feet, attaching them and making sure that there is a strong bond for all those. And here's that brad nail gun that I was talking about. And now I'm going to flip this over and press firmly so that the hold and the glue all bind together. Now, because I'm working with this vignette here and I want them all to blend, I'm going to come in with this little filigree or label molds that I got off of Amazon. And I am going to pick one of these pieces and I'm going to make a molding for the front of this little riser that I am creating, because I want it to have that little rustic French kind of inspired. I don't know what kind of design this is. It's just whatever I feel, and it's kind of like blending different kind of aesthetics here. Now I'm going to come in with that same khaki color brown, and I'm going to coat this little riser, and on the sides I'm realizing that it doesn't really need to be full coverage, so I don't worry about getting a full coverage here, because I do want a distressed, weathered, layered kind of look on this also to match kind of the little vignette I am putting together. Now I'm going to come in and just wipe off the excess, because this is not a chalk paint, and I'm going to blend that in with a rag, taking some off, also kind of distressing it. And then we're going to come in here with that same green paint that I have used and layer that in, taking my rag again and distressing that into the piece. Now, of course, it's not an Emily project without the dark wax. So now I'm going to come in and blend all that together and use some dark wax here. Now, to highlight it, like the picture, I am going to use the gold gilding wax, and then we're done with this piece. And let's move on to project number 3. So for project number 3, I am using a mixture here, and it's just half baking soda and half chalk paint. Now I did run out of my DIY chalk paint that I had, and I need to place an order soon. But I'm going to go in with this bare chalk paint. Now it's not as thick as the DIY paint, so it doesn't give you too much coverage. And I'm just going to blotch that on and then come in with that same khaki color and that same green color. And now after that step, I went ahead and sprayed it with a Rust-Oleum sealer just to hold in all that. And now I'm going to come in with my waxes. And once again, we're going to do the dark wax, blend it with the clear wax, and wipe that on and blotch off the excess. And then we're going to come in with that gold gilding wax, also from DIY. And then I'm just going to highlight the spots that I want highlighted. And then we'll move on to our next project. So for our last piece here, it's just a candle holder that I thrifted. I didn't have to paint it. I wanted it like this with all its patina goodness and all its age and all this detail on it. And it's a heavy, substantial piece, and I'm going to go ahead and add that to the vignette.